I'm Matt with Let's Talk Music. I'm here with Dion from The Damned Few, and you're joining us from the Netherlands, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So, gotta love technology, be able to do an interview from this far away.
Yeah, pretty cool.
So, you guys just came out with this, and on a press release, it says "badass new single," and it is. It's freaking
Thanks.
killer. Till death do us
Thanks.
part.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, we released the song, I think, a month ago.
Hmm.
We wrote it maybe half a year ago or something, but we had to make a new album, so we waited till we had enough songs to make. We produced 3 songs, and this one came out for the better, so we thought this would be a cool single. And I think the release process went really well, actually. We got a lot of good reviews, and yeah, I think it came out pretty cool.
And you have a very powerful voice. So,
Thank you.
I mean, musically, it's a very well composed song. It's kind of rockish, bluesish, maybe a little bit of I want to say like soul in it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, is this part of an EP or an LP?
an LP. We're about to release a whole album. I think later this year, maybe the beginning of next year, but we hope to release it this year. Um, but we got a lot of work to do, so maybe like November ish, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, it's I'm looking at your press release, and it says that you guys are kind of. It reminds of the Pretty Reckless, Rival Sons, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath. I mean, that's some pretty big names.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
um, is this the first single off of the album?
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
This is. I think we will release 2 more before the whole album comes out. But this is the first.
What are you thinking for the next one? I mean, time wise.
I hope to release it in 2 months, maybe.
Okay.
I think that's uh, a good time to do that. But we're just planning on making uh, good songs, you know. So when the song is good, we will release it. But maybe a better song comes along the way, so then we're gonna release that song. You know, it's like, yeah, kill your darlings a little bit, but yeah,
So you
I
guys,
think
you're constantly writing then.
yeah, for sure, yeah.
Now, are you the primary songwriter, or the guys chip in?
No, the guys chip in. I think our guitar player he writes all the riffs, you know.
Hmm.
But like it's very different. Every song has a different writing process. Sometimes we go in the studio and we feel the guitar player. He comes up with a riff. We all chip in. Um, Sometimes I have a whole song done in 10 minutes. Sometimes I have to rewrite it maybe like 3 times. Um, but the songs that come up like in a split second, I think those are in my opinion the best ones. But it's always a different process, and that's what I like about it. You know, it's always uh, a different ride or something.
Okay. So, till death do us part, does it have any kind of like what's the word, like a emotional attachment to it, or is it just something that you a line that you came out with?
Well, we didn't really know how to name the song. At first, we would call it Black Thunder because the chorus starts with the line Black Thunder.
Hmm.
It like to I don't know. I didn't really feel that one, and then I came up with "Till Death Do Us Part" because that's like the last line of the first couplet.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. The song is maybe a little bit about um, life in a way, you know, but life in kind of a negative way. Like you have to do all things. You have to go to work. You have to work for a boss. You have to do shit you don't want to do, and you don't want to do it anymore. Like life gets in the way. That's kind of, but in another way, like I don't like to explain the songs too much.
Hmm.
When everybody listens to it, everybody makes their own way about a song. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like our own interpretation, and I think that's a really big part of music. I don't want to explain it too much because then I may be intervening someone else's interpretation, and I don't want to do that.
I
For
understand.
you, another thing than it means for me.
Hmm.
I did it's mine, and when I put it out in the world, it's whatever you want to make of it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty of art. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a musician or a painter or what, I mean, a lot of times, you look at a piece of art that's on a wall and you see something and you're like, okay, and then you see what the name of it is, and I would have never thought that, you know.
No. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I mean, and that's a big part of music is interpretation. I feel like it's just um a lot of songs, like I have a very good ear for music, so I can usually pick up on the artist's meaning of
Hmm.
the song. So, but it does. It's like I've told several people, the meanings behind songs, and they're like, "Are you freaking kidding me? That's what it meant." And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "But I'm sorry if I just shattered your world." But
Yeah.
like um I remember when I was younger, one of my favorite albums is Metallica's Master of Puppets, and the song Master of Puppets, I thought was kind of like about, somebody being controlled, but I didn't know how because I didn't know about cocaine.
Yeah.
And then you get older and you're like, chop my breakfast on a mirror. And I'm like, oh, that's what it's about.
Fine. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds really familiar to me. Yeah.
Yep. So it is a nice form of, or I think a nice part of the art is to leave the people kind of
Yeah.
think.
And I think that is why we write music, just to put it in your own words and it's like an outlet
Mhm.
to make, I don't know, like process things or something and just write it down. And sometimes it's shit. You write something and you're like, no, this is not what it was meant to be.
Right.
Throw it away and you move on and you write another killer song and you're like, yeah, that is what I want to put out in the world or something. Or, you got something to say, so say it. And it doesn't matter what anybody thinks of it. If you got something to say, you should write it down. Even if you're like not only musicians, also like painters or anything, just put it out there.
Right.
Write
Paint
it.
poets.
Yeah.
Yep. So the next single, you're talking 2 months. What about are you guys planning any kind of shows, or is this your debut album?
Yes, this is our debut album. We've released 2 EPs before the album. I think like 2.5 years ago we released our latest EP. So that's quite a while ago. So we have to come up with something new. And we're playing our first show this year in about 2 weeks. Booster Festivals, like a showcase festival in the Netherlands. And from there we'll start playing again, and we'll go to the festivals and the club shows and that kind of stuff.
So are you more of a recording artist, like you prefer to be doing work in the studio, or are you more of a live artist?
Oh, definitely more of a live artist. Yeah, that's why we do it. I think that's why we started playing music, because I looked up clips on YouTube of Black Sabbath or Metallica or I don't know, ECDC. Just the noise, the loud noise, and people stage diving and just going mad. That's why we want to make music, to put it out. I like recording music as well because then you really can, I don't know, just it's a process, and I like that about it. But the live shows are way more fun to do because it's always a different kind of scene.
Hmm.
Every play is always different. You play some shitty shows, but they are fun as well. You play some really good shows, and the crowd is maybe a little bit silent or not that much fun. But you got to make the best out of it, you know? And that's why we want to play live music, just to make people feel something and make people fucking think again or something, you know? Just rock and roll is freedom. And
Right.
that's, we can pronounce that the best if we play live.
Yeah. My ears are still a little screwed up from some live music last night. So,
Yeah, we got that ringing in your, and you
oh,
know, it was, yeah.
well, I
Which show,
mean, huh?
which show that you went to last night?
They're mostly local bands. It's a band called To Kill a Monster,
Oh,
Over and Out, and Harmless Habit. And I actually did the interview with To Kill a Monster and Harmless Habit, and then also had a photo pass. So I'm in that inside the barricade next to the stage, and I just I
yeah,
didn't
I know.
I didn't take earplugs with me, which I've been to hundreds of concerts, and I've never taken earplugs. I mean,
Me, my
I
ear fucked up, but that's also like a thing, you know. I don't want to put my earplugs in. I want to hear it. I want to hear every single part of it.
hmm
Not the most smart thing to do, but I don't care. Live for the
yeah.
rock and roll.
Well, and it's that's the same way I am. I want to hear it all. I don't want to hear it sounding muffled. I mean, you
Yeah,
know, I like to go shooting and stuff. So when I go shooting, yes, I'm definitely putting in earplugs because
yeah,
I don't want to hear the sound of a gun. I don't care. But I go to a concert, this is something that I paid for, and I want to enjoy, and I'm not going to do it, muffled. And
no, exactly.
it was a great time. I mean, it being St. Patrick's Day, and it was a small venue. It was sold out. There was like 400 people, and it was just, I mean, there was no BS. You didn't have anybody fighting or arguing or anything. It was just a good time.
Yeah, nice, man. Good
And
for you.
and that's what, music's about.
Yeah,
It's a community, and for people to get together and just have a good time together, and it doesn't matter what background you're from or whatever. It just you're all there for the same purpose, and that's to listen to music and have fun.
yeah. It's like a universal language. You know, everybody speaks that language.
hmm
Even if you don't speak language, it's magical. I think music is something really. You make something out of nothing. That's crazy, you know.
yes.
So that's part the
And
magic.
honestly, I've always kind of wondered, it's like that is the most perfect thing I've ever heard somebody say as a musician. You make something out of nothing because you're literally just started sitting down with a guitar or a pad and pen, and doing your thing, and it's crazy how it comes to you.
Crazy. Yeah.
I mean, the normal person that doesn't have the talent to do music or whatever, it doesn't really come to you. So that's why we enjoy it so much when you create it,
Yeah.
but that is that was a great analogy. I like that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Cool.
So what's I mean, what got you into music? How, at what age did you start?
I think I was pretty young. I was like 6 years old, and my dad is a really big rock and roll fan. My whole family is actually a really big rock and roll fan. I think I was like 6 years old when uh, my dad showed me Nirvana on YouTube. I don't remember which song it was. I think it was about a girl or "Come as You Are." I don't really remember that, but the sound that came out of the speakers, and like when I saw Kurt Cobain for the first time, I didn't know what I saw. It blew me away, you know. And that's when it started, I think. And my dad showed me Coma by Guns N' Roses. It was a, a big moment for me. And he had like all the Metallica albums and all the Led Zeppelin albums and a lot of Rage Against the Machine. And I don't know, just the whole the sound and the rawness, and it's pure and it's honest, that that made me want to do it myself. I was 16 when I started my first band. It's called Black Basement. It was a really funky metal band, and we only smoked cigarettes and drank beer and just made music in the middle of it, and that was really fun. And a few moments later, the Damn Few came along. They asked me if I want to. It was a project still, so we didn't really have songs or a plan. We just wanted to make music. And Michiel, the guitar player, he asked if I want to sing a song in the studio and kind of put some ideas together. So we did that, and it worked really well. And we never stopped from there. We still smoke cigarettes and drink a lot of beer, but we make the music. It's a little bit better, I think. Yeah. I don't know. It's just about vibe, the whole. It's an outlet. I have to make music. It's like I didn't choose to play rock and roll. It's like, it sounds maybe a bit cliche, but like rock and roll chose me to play rock and roll. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's something that I have to do. If I don't make music for about 2 weeks, I go crazy. I don't even know how I would do that,
So it's therapy for you.
Yeah, it's therapy. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
But for listeners, I really enjoy listening to music as well, and that's therapy. And you really get to know yourself by listening to music. It's also great. So it's therapy, and it's a way of life and a way of living, and it runs through your veins or something. It's weird to explain. I think you know what I'm saying. I think you
I do.
have that as well. So
yeah,
it is life. Rock and roll is life.
Trust me. When it's been a bad day, typically, I throw out my headphones. I've got probably about 1,800 songs downloaded to my phone. And I'll just hit random and grab a beer and sit down and chill. And, after about maybe the second beer, third song, fourth song, I'm in a better mood.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's crazy.
And I mean, everybody's got their certain ones that kind of hit home, that you can listen to, and instantly it puts you in a good place.
Yeah.
So,
and it's also nostalgic, listening to music brings you back to places where like 10 years ago, you remember every part of, like, you went on a vacation or something, or you broke up with your first boyfriend or girlfriend, and you're listening to a song that brings you right back to that place, and you feel it again. It's so weird. It's like the same as sense, or that's with music as well. You listen to something and you're like back to 10 years ago.
Right. And I mean, one of the things that I love about music is there's very few things in this life. I mean, I'm 46 years old, and I've put myself through some crazy shit. Let's just say I've lived the life of a rock star, just never been paid like one. And there's very few things in this life that can cause me to have goosebumps, and music can do that. There are certain songs that I will hear that I haven't heard in like ages, or something new that comes out that I'm like, oh, man, or the hairs on the back of your neck stick up. It's like you said, magical. I mean,
it is.
The way that it can make you feel. And I actually wrote a blog on that once. How it was called, How Does Music Make You Feel? And just all the different feelings, like, from, happiness to horny, you know what I mean? It can do so many things to you as far as feelings. And, I just kind of like would put a little paragraph underneath each feeling, like, okay, this is how this song makes you feel, or whatever. And it got a great response. And, I mean, I feel like, a lot of people feel that same way.
Yeah, for sure. It's really almost like a drug. I think it is a drug, Also, when you go to concerts and you see people going nuts, That's weird, but that's what it does, you know? It's like you release all of the dopamines and endorphins, and it's really drugs, music. And not only rock and roll. I mean, you can, it depends on what your genre is, but every, I think, honest piece of music, even if it's like Billie Eilish or fucking Alicia Keys or Robert Plant, that doesn't matter. It's about the feeling that it gives you and the excitement and the joy, but also in the, indeed, you know, horny or mad or angry or sad. You know, everything comes together at that moment. So that's, yeah, that's quite a cool thing to experience.
It is, and you're right. I mean, it is kind of like, well, they say that one of the reasons that opiates are so addictive is because we have natural opiate receptors in our body. I
Yeah,
It's almost like we have, music receptors, art
yeah,
receptors. There
yeah.
are ways that, like, I think, there's people that listen to music and then there's people that listen to music. You know what I
I
mean?
know. Yeah, sure. But there are also people who don't like to listen to music. That's also a weird thing. I know some people who are like, well, no, I don't listen to music. It annoys me, or I don't really care about music. I don't understand how you can not listen to music,
Yeah.
you know? But
I'm
they find it maybe like watching a movie or reading a book or something. That's also cool. Whatever works for you. But I don't know. I can't imagine a world without music.
I couldn't either. I mean, I guess if I'd never had it, I wouldn't miss it. But since if it was to be taken right now, I'm like you, I'd probably go insane.
Yeah, me too. I
I'm
think
hugging myself
I,
in a padded room.
yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. No, no, no.
Uh, um, so hold on here, I got to regain my train of thought. We got talking about different things there. But yeah, I mean, it's been like just so fun doing this. I love talking to musicians. I've always, like when I was a kid, I idolized musicians, and now
Yeah,
it's more of since I've talked to them, I feel like it's just a mutual respect. You're doing something that I love to hear, that I love to see. I mean, you're hitting all of my senses. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
And that draws me in, and
Hmm.
what makes a good musician. Um, I mean, I've honestly heard bands where I'm like, how in the hell did you get signed? You know,
Yeah,
and, and,
yeah,
and I shouldn't feel that way because I mean, it's their expression of their art.
yeah,
And this was before I started doing this. I mean, this has opened up my mind a lot, you know.
yeah.
So, it definitely has been fun. I mean, you guys, I've been getting a lot of bands from over in Europe. Matter of fact, the one before you was from Germany.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and
Oh,
of course the ones last night, like I said, were local. The one being Harmless Habit, they're getting big. They're
yeah.
doing their thing, and they deserve it. They're an amazing band, amazing group of guys. Had a wonderful time with them last night. Took my daughter with me. She's 16, first concert, and
Cool.
yeah, she was headbanging and stuff. Now she's like, "Dad, my neck hurts."
Just enjoying the
Yeah,
music.
I'm like,
Cool.
welcome to rock.
Yeah,
So,
cool.
but as far as your voice goes, let's get back to that. You like I said, you have a very powerful voice. Have you had any vocal lessons?
No, actually, no, none. No. Thank you for the compliment, by the way. But no, I never took a voice class or anything. I don't. That's what's weird. Like when people are like, "Whoa, it's so um, you're doing such a good job," and I'm like, I'm just doing what I'm doing. You know, I think it's way more cooler if you can play the guitar really good, because you have to work for that. You know, you have to work on your skills. Not that I don't have to work on my skills, but it's just something that is there. So, and I really like when people say I'm doing a good job, but
Oh, I
I don't
bet.
really get. like I'm like, yeah, well, I actually don't know what the fuck I'm doing, you know. I'm just doing something and it works, I think, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So like playing guitar is way much cooler for me, or like playing the drums real good, you know. This is just, it comes out and it sounds good. Sometimes it sounds really fucking shit, but when I do my best, it sounds good, you know. And that's the soul thing about it. I know it just comes straight from the soul. So I you don't learn that at school. You don't learn how to play rock and roll at a school or anything like that. It has to come from the heart and the soul.
Oh, no, come on, we do have the School of Rock.
What? What did you say?
I said we do have the School of Rock.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's like my favorite movie ever. I think Jack
Yeah,
Black is my favorite animal.
I was gonna say who better to play it than Jack Black? But
Nobody.
that's I mean, I get where you're coming from with that because it's something that is inside you, you know,
Yeah,
and you're just bringing it out. It's not like it's magical to you, but to the people that hear it, you know,
yeah.
when it hits the ear, it's like, wow, this chick can sing. I mean, it's a very soulful voice. I kind of total different genres, but I would kind of put it in an area with like Adele. I mean,
Oh,
you
wow.
yeah, you have like amazing range, you have amazing control.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
So that's why I was like, have you had vocal training? Because most people that sing like that have had some sort, and
Yeah,
the fact that it's a natural ability for you, I mean, you should be proud when people tell you, it's good.
that's very sweet. Thank you so much.
And just being honest, I mean, I'm not in the game of flattery, you know what I mean? I'm like, you got a good voice. I wouldn't say it sucks, but you know what I'm saying? I say you got a good voice. I wouldn't say but your voice is, yeah, it's up there with, I mean, I'm gonna say you're probably maybe the 10th, 11th, maybe female fronted band. And
Hmm.
I think it's just a thing over in Europe because
Yeah,
you women over there have uh just amazing voices. I talked to a lady from Italy who had opera and classical training, uh
yeah.
phenomenal singer. And then you got ones that can sing and growl, and it's just like, how does that work, because you're doing that growl that is bad for your vocal cords anyways, but yet you come out with this angelic voice afterwards.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. I know, like I know how to work my voice the best, you know, and it's not like that I'm just doing something. Well, most of the time I am, but sometimes I have to really work on that. Like when you've played like two shows in a row, your voice gets a little iffy. So then you have to put it on your stomach, you know, and your strength, and you have to just go along with it. So of course I know how to work my voice, but that's just something that I learned along the way. You know, I learned it out of myself and not by someone who told me how to sing, you know? And that's the thing. I don't really think that I will listen to someone who tells me how to sing because I wouldn't want to do that. I
Right.
want to do it. And yeah, and I know my voice. I know my voice really good. So I also know when my voice is, you know, when I'm having a bad day,
Hmm.
but I work with it. And that's also the motivation that you've got and like the whole spirit of making music. I want to do this, you know.
Right.
So I put a whole body and soul into it, and I always make my way. It always turns out the way I want it to turn out. And if I don't want, I'm really like I'm a perfectionist. So if I'm in the studio and it's not the way that I want to do it, I will do it like 20 different takes for something, even if it's like this little tiny part. I want to do it the way I want to do it and the way I want it to sound like in the end, you know. So yeah, it has to do with motivation and the whole. I just really want to do this, so I put all my effort into it.
I
And
love that.
yeah, thank you. Yeah,
the
Yeah.
determination and everything. That's awesome. And it's I feel like your love for music is as passionate as mine. I mean, and just in a different way. Mine is listening to your music, and yours is making your music. So, um,
Yeah.
trust me, if I could sing, and I've even thought about, I mean, because there's so many things you can watch on YouTube to do guitar and whatever. I've thought about picking up a guitar again. But yeah, I sound like a dying dog when I try to sing. So it's I I I, I really, I seen this thing on YouTube the other day that said, "Learn to sing any song," and I'm like, my ass. You're not teaching me nothing, dude. 'Cause I'm horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, right?
But so just one last question: like when you go into the studio or you're getting ready for a show, do you do any kind of warm ups, or do you just sit down at the mic and go?
Yeah. I just sit down at the mic and go. But well, I feel like I have to do some warm ups. I never do it. I never do it, and that's maybe a bit stupid actually, because it's your voice. It's this tiny, teeny muscle in your throat that has to do everything. So I should do warm ups. I always forget to do warm ups because we have so much fun with the band, and we enjoying the time together, and then we're like, oh fuck, we have to do the show in like 5 minutes, so I don't have any time left to do some warm ups. Um, but I feel like I have to do that a little bit more because it's good. It's better for the voice and for the whole sound of your voice, because the first two songs you sound nah, not like shit, not that, but just not as good as the last three songs. You have to warm up your vocals, just like when you're like a athlete, you have to warm up your whole body. That's what you got to do if you're a singer as well. So I should do that a little bit more. Thanks for reminding me of that.
Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, because like I said, it's just with the power of your voice, it would seem like you. I mean, I'm very happy for you that it comes natural,
Yeah,
but a lot of people that have that sort of range and that sort of voice, I mean, they're they've had vocal training. They spend 20, 30 minutes before recording or before a show,
yeah.
warm. And the fact that you can just go out there and let it go, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, you're obviously a natural born talent. So, but all right, Dion. Well, we are just about out of time. I appreciate you joining me today. The Damn Few is definitely on my playlist. Um, love the music, and looking forward to the next one coming out. Can you tell me what the next single is going to be called, or are you not allowed to release that?
I don't really think I can say that,
Okay.
but I'll email it to you.
Okay. All right. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day, and again, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.